Hey, good morning. Yes, it is up and at 'em. Today is Monday, October 20th. Where is October going? It's gone fast. So, what are we talking about today? I'd like to be able to talk about more of stuff that you guys want to hear about because I've noticed the numbers kind of dwindling of who's watching it. Maybe you're not getting as good a content. So, I thought today we talk about kind of like estate planning. Are you doing it or aren't you doing it? And it's a group participation if you could in the comments. So stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. And yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Monday, October 20th of 2025. What do I mean by estate planning? I mean, if something were to happen to you today, do you have everything set up so that it doesn't leave total confusion for your family? I know in my case, I didn't. I've got a will, and I've had a will since I was 20 and updated it twice. It's due for another update, big time. But it basically says that a certain portion goes to my two kids, and then the other portion goes to my wife. But now that she's in a nursing home, things have changed again. So if I give it to her, then the nursing home will take it. Easy said than done. So what are you doing? Do you have a will in place? So that'd be the first thing, is do you have an actual will that spells out how you want things to take place? And you can download those pretty easily on the internet. And all it takes is for two other people to sign saying that you are of sound mind and body and not off your rocker when you do the will. You can also have it be notarized, and that makes it just actually a little better. The wills that we've done in the past, we've had an attorney involved, and that way the attorney knew exactly what our wishes were, and it was all spelled out. He asked the correct questions because we didn't know what we were supposed to put on that thing. And the thing is, you don't have to have it spelled out right down to the last penny of your estate. But you need to have all your ducks in a row. And when I say that, things change from year to year, especially from 10 years to another 10 years. The things that you may have listed on your will you no longer have, or you may have a ton more stuff of equity in something else. Whether you bought a couple other properties or put on cows. Cows are an asset. You bought a couple new tractors that aren't listed. You see where I'm going with it? Unless it specifically says my son gets all the farming equipment and the cattle. That covers anything new that comes in. And it also covers stuff that has been sold in the past. But if you're saying that your grandson gets a certain tractor and then all of a sudden the tractor's no longer there because you have sold it, for whatever reason, that needs to be updated, right? Because then when it comes time to read your will, your grandson's looking for a particular tractor that you no longer have. The better you can spell it out, the better it is. And if you're getting up in years where you have a lot of properties, a lot of value properties, I would suggest you talk with a planning and trust attorney to see if it's viable for you to put everything into a trust. A lot of people do it to protect their money. The other thing is you can turn it over to your child when you're alive for $1 and have like life lease of the property. That's great as long as your kid doesn't want to kick your ass out or decides to go get a mortgage on it while you're still living in it. Things happen. They do. And I've seen where at the end of the day, I've seen close-knit families bust apart because of a will, because of a death of the family. And greed got the best of them. It even happened in my family. That's how I know. No one's immune. The difference is, I just said whatever. If it means that much to you, to be underhanded and not fair with the whole group, the whole bunch of us kids, then to each their own, right? Because I have to live at the end of the day, and this is something to think about. If you've had problems in the past or you're having problems right now with somebody else's passing and the family's trying to deal with it, is at the end of the day, you're going to get judged of how you acted in your reactions to certain things. And if you've always been self-centered and all about you and you've allowed greed to run your life, because greed is kind of like a sin of the devil. Because if you're greedy, you're never going to get enough. You're never going to find contentment. You aren't. Whereas if you're content, that makes life easier, doesn't it? You don't have to have the best of everything. You just have to have a vehicle that's safe to operate and dependable. You don't need the $30,000 zero turn when you can buy one like you, Amos, and put a new engine on it and have just as brand new as anybody else for a whole heck of a lot less. That's contentment. Getting to a stage of contentment takes a while. But once you're there, it's a bliss. I'm telling you right now. Because me and my contentment, you could take all this material crap away and I'm still content. That's how much value it has to me. The people around me are the ones that are important. So in saying that, when you're developing a will, you need to look at people instead of looking at assets and trying to divvy up who should get what. And in some cases, the best plan of attack is putting in your will that you want a auction to sell off all of this stuff and then just divvy it up amongst the ones that you want, your kids, your grandkids, whoever. And in doing that, they have the ability to go to that auction and buy anything back that they wanted that was yours. They do. And I see it a lot. Because families don't know how to put a price on certain things. So fair market value is what happens when you when you have an auction, and that's whatever the person pays is what it is valued at that certain point in time, right? Of how much two people want it. Because all it takes at an auction is two people. You could have 100 observers, but if you got two people bidding, the price will keep going up. So I know that almost all of you have been through this, of where a family member passed away and the will and the got into squabbles, fights. Some people quit speaking. I quit speaking to my brother for 10 years. Yeah. I forgave him the first year, but I just didn't feel that it was a good fit. In the comments, let me know what you've seen and what you're doing when it comes to your estate. And when I say estate, most of us have got like our own repair shop. mine's got a lot of inventory still in it. It's got a lot of fixtures in it. It's got tire machines, you name it. And I think the way I want it, is I want a local auctioneer just to show up and start selling right out of the shop building, and then offer the property up for bid with a reserve on it, so that the property doesn't go for nothing. Everything else, all it takes is two people. And I think it would do well. And I've thought about doing that as a way to retire, is just getting hold of a friend of mine that is an auctioneer and saying, look, I think it's time that you just back your vehicle right up to the front of the door and we'll start hauling out, and may the best person win. But this all comes down to estate planning, right? And that is, when you're young, you think you have a whole lifetime ahead of you. And when you're old, you realize you have less time ahead of you than you have behind you, right? And these are things that you need to start thinking about as you get up in age. I'm 62. I'll be 63 this month. So I'm looking at retirement. And it scares me, to be honest with you, because what else am I going to do? Well, there's a ton of things I can keep busy with. Everything from the farm to redoing parts of the house that I want to get done. If I had that time, would I actually do any of it? You know what I'm saying? I enjoy the shop because A, I don't have to go there. I don't have to be there. B, I enjoy seeing people and catching up with everybody. C, Claude and I do good hanging out together, talking and doing stuff. And getting that sense of accomplishment when things are going right and you're getting stuff done and knocked out and fair price for you and your customers, and you're making money. Because at the end of the day, you still have to show a profit. Whether you're doing it part-time, full-time, what have you, right? You can't keep going backwards, because if you keep going backwards, you're going to start stealing money from your personal stuff that you've acquired and your stash, I call it. What are you guys doing that are getting to be my age and have shops, whether it's an automotive repair shop or small engine, or do you have in the works how you want your will spelled out if something were to happen to you? Because life is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that I'll be here this afternoon or tomorrow or the next day. It's not. As I found out quite abruptly, last November. There's no given that says you have the right to be here. Do you have in place, are you looking at retirement, and how are you going to retire? Are you going to try to sell the business as a whole? I had a person approach me here about 4 or 5 months ago that wanted to buy the whole business as a whole, and I wasn't ready to give up the reins yet. But that's an option where you're selling lock, stock, and barrel, and the only thing they don't care about is the name of the business. They're going to change the name, but in the meantime, they're going to want your customer and your customer base. And Mark, you were talking about that the other day, of how do you get, if you buy out a competitor, how do you keep their customers? And there's no guarantee that those customers are going to stay with you. What I find is it's top down, all right? And that is, if the one that's running the owner that's running the helm is doing a good job and doesn't take his or her employees for granted, and it's a happy workforce, and they interact well with the public, That will keep customers longer than if someone at the helm is a slave driver and the people that are there hate being there and it's coming out to their customer. Just a change in who is running the ship will make or break that business. It will. The ones that I've seen succeed are the ones that have bought out another competitor but kept that competitor on as an employee instead of the owner. And given that if the business is profitable, giving that new employee, the AKA owner, prior owner, giving them liberties to continue doing whatever they're doing. You don't need to interject how to do something better. If they're doing well and that business is making a profit, why would you want to change it? Now, if you come into a business that's in the red and run down and ready to crash, yeah, then you can kind of do some fine tuning with it, hopefully to bring it back. If you have that bag of tools that can do that. Not everybody can do that. A lot of times when you run into a business like that, they've already developed a reputation that's not good. So having the same name or buying that business out isn't going to help you because the name is already out there that they do shoddy work. And that's probably the reason they're in the red and why they're no longer doing much business is because it's gotten around. Bad news travels faster than good. And you end up with people avoiding that shop no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's under new ownership. You might get a few that'll try. But just the amount of time and energy it would take to get those customers back versus setting up a new shop in that area and doing your own thing. If doing your own thing is being a good owner and valuing your employees and your customers, you will become profitable a heck of a lot faster than you would if you bought this failing business, if that makes any sense to you. Because even though you're an unknown, it's better to be an unknown than be a known for shoddy work. If that makes any sense. So if you're in that situation where you're thinking about buying a business that's running in the red, I think Amos, I read a post once where you said that you could see all the things that they were doing wrong and you had a plan, you had a vision of how you were going to do it. The difference is you were in manufacturing and tweaking and standing on the ground of quality work. And no matter what business you're running, you need to have that same mindset. Everything that goes out has to be quality. If it's not quality, do not let it go until you can say that it's a quality work that's been done to it. And that means even if you feel that you're getting up there at the price point with the customer, if you can afford to eat some of that, eat it. Eat it before you send it out and make sure it's done correctly. Again, bad news travels faster than good news. So if you're putting out a couple shoddy works, you're going to be known for your last job. And it's not going to take long to get around town of what you didn't get on that machine, didn't do. So on that note, put in the comments what you guys think of the wills and trusts. And are you set up for retirement? And the ones of you that have retired, what was the turning point that said, this is the day I'm going to retire? Was there a date already preset that you said at this certain point in time I'm going to retire? Or did something happen that caused you to retire? If you got sick or whatever, or like you, Amos, with having open heart surgery, if that didn't happen, would you still be running that business? So on that note, you guys have a great Monday, and we'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning for another episode of the weekday. Thanks again so much for watching and supporting the channel.